Up for severe weather, New York City hunkers down as we monitor the threat of high winds, heavy flooding, and more. Good evening. I'm Jessica Moore.
Welcome back. I'm Kristine Johnson, and we know that when a storm like this hits the area, the impact is really felt all across the city, from our roads and public transit to our own apartments and backyards.
It's a huge undertaking to make sure you're prepared. That's why we've asked Zach Iscol, commissioner of the city's emergency management team, to join us tonight. Zach, thanks for the time. Can you start by explaining exactly what measures the city is taking to prepare for this storm?
Yeah, so first off, thank you so much for having me on. We started preparing for this event days in advance. We coordinate very, very closely with the National Weather Service, and most importantly, with a lot of our agency partners, our infrastructure utility partners across the city, to make sure we have, public safety, safety crews staged around the city, that we have crews out there that can immediately respond to down power lines and outages, and that we're doing what we need to do to make sure that we are actually preparing the infrastructure of the city for an event like this. And then finally, and most importantly, in a lot of ways, is making sure that we're getting the message out to the public, so that there's a lot that the city's doing, but there's also a lot that the city needs to know, and a lot that the public can do to make sure that they're also prepared for events like this.
Well, one of the suggestions that you're telling city residents here, Commissioner, is that with 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts expected, we really should be thinking about furniture that might be, on the balconies, probably even some Halloween decorations. But what about securing construction projects around the city?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So the primary concerns for this event is we are going to have some amount of rainfall, but the two primary threats are coastal flooding, a lot of water getting pushed into New York Harbor, Jamaica Bay, and then those high winds. So our Department of Buildings, one of our incredible partners here at Emergency Management, they actually are putting out messaging to construction crews across the city, making sure that we're securing construction sites, securing cranes around the city for these high winds that we're expecting Sunday into Monday.
All right, Zach Iscol, commissioner of the city's emergency management, thank you again for your time, and please keep us updated throughout the weekend.
Yeah, great to be with you.
All right, coming up, New York Roadrunners canceled this Sunday's Staten Island half marathon in anticipation of the potentially dangerous weather.
Yeah, they really did, and I'm sure it's really heartbreaking for all those runners that have been training, for this half marathon. They're in their final week getting ready for this race, so that's really some tough news to hear there, Lonnie. But why don't you give us an update on this forecast?
You got it, Cage. I want to keep you involved in this conversation for just a second, because I know I was there cheering you on. You're one of those runners who ran the marathon in bad weather with big winds. I mean, how did that go for the runners, Cage? Well,
my abs were really sore the following morning. That's how it went.
I mean, and that would be the case. These winds are going to be blowing out there, KJ. It's going to be sort of a similar setup to the race that you ran a number of years ago. Now, I know you came back for your redo and then crushed it the second time, but let me show you what we've got. Skies are not so bad. Yep, more clouds out there right now than what we had yesterday, the day before that. Those clouds could lead to a little bit of rain tomorrow. It's not a huge concern for tomorrow. You've got a cloudy Saturday. I actually just had Kathy Shawcross come over and say, look, is there going to be any rain on Saturday? I said, yeah. It's not an organized system. It's a little trough, but there could be some rain on Saturday. But it's Sunday and Monday. This is when we've issued the first alert for that coastal storm. We believe it gets to our area and sets up as a nor'easter, rain, 1 to 2 inches of rain, maybe more in a couple of spots. Winds 40 to maybe some 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Coastal flooding, tree damage, some power outages, all of that a possibility. Now, I just showed you this map just a little while ago about coastal flooding. And basically, anybody in our area who has a shoreline could be dealing with potentially 1 to 3 feet of inundation. All right, so keep that in your mind, because there's one thing I've got to show you that is important to consider when you're talking about coastal flooding. What affects your high tides? The moon, right? Well, it's just 4 days ago that we had a super moon. I mean, extremely close to the Earth. The closer that moon is to the Earth, it pulls on those tides even more so. So the high tide cycles, I think, can be problematic. Let me show you how we see the 7-day forecast. I want to leave you with this, guys, because we do have that first alert established for Sunday and Monday. After that, you have some rain for Tuesday, but it gets better as you push along. Sit tight. We'll be talking about this all day today. And actually, Scott and I will be with you over the weekend as well. But right now, let's go back to you.
All right, Lonnie, thank you.
And stay tuned to our streaming channel, CBS News New York, all weekend long as we track this potential nor'easter. Remember, you can always find your first alert forecast on the CBS News app.